Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 3. And I told you that you guys had nothing to worry about, that new series are coming up soon. And here's a new one guys. What if the Naruto universe had quirks? Part 1 guys, yes you heard that right. Like My Hero Academy, what if the Naruto universe had quirks? This is not gonna be a crossover between Naruto and My Hero Academy, no. It won't be a crossover. This would be mainly Naruto, however. The concept of quirk would be placed in the Naruto universe. There will still be chakra, but the quirks will tie into the chakras. So you guys just have to listen and see guys. So this is part 1 of what if the Naruto universe had quirks. If you enjoyed, don't forget to comment down below and tell me, and I'll be posting the other part as soon as possible. So without further ado, what do you say we jump into this brand new series? Begin now guys. The Elemental Nations, home to many people that are split in different villages. In these villages, you had different clans. In these clans, you had unique people. The world was special and unique. There was a history of the olden days that there was a man that had appeared with abilities that no other could use. A man that had shifted the world, flipped it upside down and burst people's mind with the things that he could do. This man was said to fight a gigantic beast that was threatening to end the world as it was seen. They fought for days upon days. Countless locations were destroyed and ravished. In the end though, the man with the miracle powers came out on top. Yes, he did. And upon defeating the beast, the man did something abnormal. Because once the beast had fallen, there was a wave. A wave of chakra that spread through the entire world, that altered people. Throughout the years, the alteration went down in history. Humans possessed chakra. Chakra was a life force that allowed humans to use ninjutsu, genjutsu, and different kind of abilities. However, the problem was, those people were looked down upon. Why, you might ask? Why would someone that could breathe fire, use water or earth techniques or even lightning be looked down upon? Well, it's quite simple. In terms of raw actual power, they were quite weak compared to the people that possess quirks. Yes, that was the name that was given to those people, abilities. They were known as quirks. Whatever happened during that great battle, that has been changed many times due to the length of when it happened. The history was changed. People possess abilities that was never seen before, that allow people that would normally take days or even weeks to get to a location, would allow them to get there in minutes or maybe hours. Possessing strength, possessing abilities that alter their body. Some turn into toads, some turn into dragons, some turn into bird-like creatures. The world was truly a fascinating and wonderful place. However, they still had chakra in their body. The more chakra one possessed, the more they could utilize their quirk. And the stronger it grew, the stronger their quirk is. The thing was, once they ran out of chakra, their body would strain when they used their quirk. Their quirk feed off a bit of their chakra, not as much. That is why it was so unique. They could use their quirk for a long amount of time without worrying about chakra exhaustion. Unlike the regular shinobis, who were looked down upon, who had to, well, use their chakra for techniques. In terms of actual power, techniques became really weak against quirks. Imagine a guy that could breathe fire like a dragon without even molding hand signs or having to worry about running out of chakra while another was there trying to go to hand signs. They would be cooked immediately. Even random civilians possess quirks. They might be weak but still. So those that did not possess quirks were looked down upon. Our story starts in the Hidden Leaf village. The Hidden Leaf was said to have the strongest quirk users. The Hidden Leaf had many powerful clans. In these clans, there were quirks that were passed down because of family bloodline. Speaking of that, the leader of the Hidden Leaf was known as Minato Namikaze. He was the Hokage of the village. The one that protected the village with an iron fist. Minato was a very dangerous and powerful man. Minato possessed a quirk that made every other quirk seem slow in use in comparison. Minato had speed that was baffling. He was able to simply touch an area. Upon touching said area, he was able to mark it. A radius was formed. Upon marking said radius, anyone that entered that space, if he wanted to, they were dead. The thing was, once you enter that space, Minato was able to move anywhere in that space. And if Minato got his hand on you, he could send you anywhere. Yes, with just a simple activation of his quirk, he could swap you with things. He could send you anywhere he could see with his eyes. So you can see why he was powerful. Given his immense speed, once you were in his radius, once he touched you, he can send you anywhere he please. That made him one of the most dangerous men in the world right now. His radius was quite large as well. He had killed over thousands of ninjas to make sure Konoha survived. The world was a military dictation world they live in. The people here, they all bound themselves to one village. There was no heroes despite possessing such amazing abilities. Well, there was some people out there that tried to do good with their quirk. But the villages are just that, villages that stuck to themselves. Because of the jobs that they did, they mostly refer to themselves as ninjas. Some of them call themselves the forces. Units of forces that came together and did odd jobs. As for Minato, his mother was Neri Namikaze. She had died when he was 10 years old. She was killed. She never told him about his father. You see, the thing was, back in the olden days, the Senjus had a man that was known as Hoshirama Senju. Hoshirama Senju had the most powerful quirk throughout the history. That is what everyone said. The man was able to control all plant life around him. It was dubbed the Mokiton. He was able to control everything, every single plant. He was also able to shift his body into plant. And just like a plant, he could absorb energy from the sunlight and absorb energy from water, making the man almost limitless when it comes to stamina and strength. The man was a beast on the battlefield, given him the name Kami of all. He was a powerful man that was virtually unstoppable back in his days, creating plant monsters, allowing the trees to just root themselves out of the earth and fight for him. He was unstoppable. That is why the other nations wanted all Senju dead. Neri never told Minato, but his father was Tobirama Senju. Tobirama had a weaker version of Minato's quirk. He could not teleport people to where he wanted, and his radius was quite smaller. However, the quirk had enhanced inside Minato and got a lot stronger. But because of the execution out for all Senjus by the other clans, Neri didn't want that for her son, so she never told him. Minato only found out later in life. However, he did not want to disrespect his mother's name, and he kept it same way. Despite becoming one of the most powerful men in the world, he kept his mother's name. It's not like he feared anyone. Why would he? However, recently, there was an attack on this village. Yes, there was an attack by the nine-tailed fox. Tailed beasts, or chakra battery, most people call it. Most people in this world were dying to be a Jinchuriki. The reason being, if you had a Jinchuriki inside of you, your chakra would become almost endless, and that would allow you to power your quirk. Those who possess tailed beasts has been known as the strongest force. They were unstoppable, unbreakable. However, while they could wipe out platoon of ninjas, every now and then there were people that were born with quirks that would make it seem, well, weak, just because of how powerful the quirk was. Recently, Kushner Uzumaki gave birth, and upon her giving birth, the 9 tails inside of her broke free. Kushner Uzumaki's name was legendary through the land, just like Minato, because Kushner possessed a quirk. Her quirk was called Adamantine Chains. You see, her quirk allowed her to restrain any quirk user. Yes, she could literally shut your quirk off if she hold you in her chains. Her chains had a nullify effect on all quirks. Granted, the moment she released you get your quirks back. However, once she does hold on to you, it was over for your quirk. You have to have something immensely powerful or have enough chakra to actually get out of her chains. While her chains were indeed breakable, they were tough. However, her quirks can suppress anyone. And to make matters worse, she was a Jinjulike. Kushner was a beast amongst the forces. There was virtually few that could stop her. However, after the extraction of the 9 tails, her chakra was limited. There was some complications when the 9 tails was ripped out of her. Kushner was the last living person until she gave birth that had her quirk, because her clan was wiped away. The Uzumaki clan, a clan of extraordinary quirk users that feared by almost everyone in the world, that they gang upon them and wipe them out. The tail beast was split. The ritual had been commenced. The tail beasts were powerhouses of chakra, and through time there was people that was able to do rituals. You have to have powerful chakra and not to mention a strong will to be able to subdue a tail beast. Minato and a few others were able to subdue the 9 tails. The beast had tried to wreak havoc on the village. It was being controlled by something. Yes, the council knew about this, of course. Someone had been there and tried to control the tail beast with a quirk that Minato has never seen before. However, the tail beast could not destroy the village as it was. Inside of a person, the person became exponentially stronger, but outside, there was too much quirk users that possessed unnatural quirk that fought against it. Especially the Monkey King Hiruzen. Half monkey, half man. A very powerful person, the third Hokage he was. He had been one of the driving forces, causing the tail beast to not cause any damage to the village. They had knocked it out. The ritual had commenced with Minato and Hiruzen, and they had sealed the tail beast away, using special ruins and markings that they call Fuinjutsu, something that was taught by the Uzumaki clan from some of the non-quirk users. Other villages have tail beasts as well, but their seal did not compare to Konoha because of how their village used to be close to the Uzumakis until they were wiped out. However, while Kushner still possessed her chains, she was weakened somewhat. However, she gave birth to 3 beautiful kids, Menma and Mito Namikaze. The both of them inherit their parents' quirk. Yes. They had to learn how to master it, and also it was getting stronger the more they grew. However, more and more they were looking out to be some of the strongest people in the entire world. And many people want them dead because of that. They already had Minato to worry about, to know that his offsprings had the same power as well. Not to mention Kushner's power to nullify quirks. Yes, it was bad, but they were not as efficient in it as they should be. After all, they were nowhere near their peak. However, I did say 3 children. Yes. And here is where our story lies. One Naruto Namikaze was by himself. Naruto was quirkless, as you might guess. Unlike his powerful siblings, he did not possess a quirk. While he did have chakra, he did not possess quirk. And for that he was looked down upon. His parents did not hate him per se, but they focused more on Menman Mito. Menman Mito always came first. It doesn't matter what activity they were doing. It doesn't matter what was happening. They always came first. Naruto has witnessed that 100 times before. even if something belongs to him. And Mito wanted it, and she complained to her mother. Kushner would simply tell him to give it over, because Mito wanted it, yes. She always tell him that she loved him, she told him that she cared about him, his father doing the same, but when the times come for them to show it, they did not that much. They always focus on the twins. They always kind of forget about him. His last birthday, they kind of forgot. Granted, it was the same as the twins. He slept in because he was out training. He was trying to make himself stronger, and he ended up falling asleep midday. When he woke up late in the night and went to the kitchen, he saw the birthday party being cleaned up. The both of them apologized for not waking him. However, they didn't seem sorry at all. But he did what he usually did. Faked like he did not hear, even though it was paining him inside. They told him that there was birthday cake in the fridge and they went to bed. They said they didn't hate him, but he just felt like they were disappointed in him. That was the same for the others as well. And not to mention because they had the beast inside of them. They were worshipped. Mito and Menma were spoiled. Yes, they were two of the spoilest people that Naruto ever knew. He did not get along with them at all. They treat him like garbage. They treat him worse than his parents. While his parents did have their kind moments with him, Mito and Menma treat him like he was rubbish. Like he did not even deserve to live. The way they speak and act towards him. Like he was not even a part of the family. It was like they were ashamed for him to have the Namikaze name. Naruto had cried himself to sleep many times when he was younger. But since he became 6 years old, he just stopped caring that much. When he had been checked out by the doctor and told that he would never have a quirk, he saw the look on his parents' faces. How sad they were, but they pretended not to show him that sadness. And they were a bit disappointed as well. But they had 2 other kids. So they didn't need him, right? That is what he thought most of the time. So at the moment he was once again alone. By his swing. Yes, he was sitting on a swing, watching the other kids with their parents. So much parents running around, smiling and laughing with their kids at the park. Because their kids had quirks. Yes, it was just that simple. Those who did not have quirks were forgotten and looked down upon. He did not even go to the same school as Menma and Mito. There was 2 schools in the village. Well, 3, counting the normal civilian ones. Some people did not even use chakra to the version that he could use it. He had a lot of chakra compared to a normal person. His brother and sister was blessed because his father and the others, when they did the ritual to seal the tail beast, they placed half in his brother and the other half in his sister. And he got nothing. So, even more, the villagers worshipped them. Naruto had blonde hair like his father with 2 red bands coming down into his face. He was dressed in a white t-shirt and black shorts and sandals. He was currently 10 years old. As he was sitting on the swing by himself. Today was their day off. He went to the Ninja Academy school, while the others went to the pristine Ultra Force school. Because they were the Force. The unstoppable force that's backed down from no challenge and no one. How much time did they say that over and over? It was really annoying. As Naruto sat there watching the kids moving around and playing with their quirks. Some of them shooting fireballs in the air, small tiny fireballs. Some of them spraying water from their mouths. Some of them digging under the ground, as they have a mole-like feature, yes. Some of them had tails. Some of them had pointy ears. Some of them had strange arms like tentacles. Everyone was different in their own way, but him, well, he was normal. His siblings had 3 whisker marks on their face, but he had none at all. They also had pointy ears. Maybe it was from the beast inside of them, but their ears were a bit pointed than normal, and their eyes were slitted, unlike his normal blue eyes. As Naruto got up and started to walk away, the sight in front of him was just making him more sad. The 10-year-old child stuffed his arms in his pockets, as he watches a boy on all 4s, shaggy hair like a dog with 2 dog ears, rush past him. As Naruto watched his older sister chasing him, she also looked like a dog as well with her tail wagging behind her. He ignored the siblings as he kept on walking home. As Naruto arrived, the moment he opened the gate, someone bumped right into him as he fell over. "Hey, watch it," said Menma as he looked down, giving Naruto a glare. Naruto usually fight back and defend himself. However, he came to realize very quickly that he was not strong enough to fight them back. It doesn't matter what he learned at Ninja Academy, he wouldn't be able to be stronger than Menma. His techniques and speed and those chains of his hurt a lot. So he said nothing as Menma walked off. He then saw someone coming out of the house as it was Mito, as she was drinking a juice box. She shook it as nothing was left as she threw it. It hit Naruto right on his shirt and fell to the ground. "Would you throw that away from me?" she said. "It will at least give you something to do." As she walked away, Naruto's fist clenched tightly, but he said nothing as he kicked the thing away, rather forcefully. Another upside of having quirk is, it naturally strengthens one's body. So in a deal of strength compared to a normal quirk user, Naruto stood no chance. However, his siblings were the worst. Despite them being the same age, they treated him like he was younger. They were snot-nosed brats who were praised by the entire village for having Bijus inside of them, making them Jinjulkis, and he had two of the powerfulest quirks within the village, and they were going to grow to be something special. And people were always telling him that there was other jobs. He could be a police. He could work in a restaurant. He always wanted to be a ninja from he was younger. Even though he didn't have a quirk, he still had chakra. He was still strong. Granted, not strong as some quirk user, but still. However, those dreams just get less and less. He walked inside. "Naruto!" Someone called his name rather sharply as he turned. "Oh, Mom," he said. "What have I told you about spreading up your bed when you leave?" she said. "Oh, I was just..." "No excuse, young man. Your sister and brother always keep their room nice and clean, and you always left yours a mess." "No, go and do it," she said. "No excuses." He was just gonna tell her that he went for a stroll. Granted, he kinda forgot. "Yeah," he said as he walked away, as she just went back to what she was doing. His parents just... they didn't hate him, but they surely did not care for him as much as they cared for their other kids. Because Menma and Mito were the pride of the family. Everyone said that. His father friends, his mother friends, everyone said that. Yes, he was a pride and joy in their eyes. As Naruto made his way to his room, he made up his bed before he lied on top of it. As he exhaled, that was basically his life. A life that he was not happy of. A life that he kind of hated really much. Time skip. Naruto sat in class. At least there was some good moments through this thing that he called life. He had friends. One of his friends was Ami Uzuki. Ami Uzuki was a younger sister of Yujiro Uzuki. Ami didn't have a quirk like her sister. Her sister was able to create weapons, sharp blades from her body, and use them in combat, while Ami had to use a physical blade that could break. Her sister told her many times, and she could not just fix it back right away. Her sister had told her to give up on her dream of becoming a active shinobi or force user. After all, she would just get herself killed out there, but Ami did not listen. Instead, she rose above the occasion and still got stronger, utilizing chakra to use her sword, Kinjutsu they call it. As Naruto sat with her as they were talking, 2 more years, Ami said. Just 2 more years and we'll be out there in the world, doing all sorts of cool missions. Come on, said Naruto. You know the crappy mission go to the people that don't possess a quirk. Yeah, you're right, she said, lowering her head, but there must be something cool. I mean, you have other non-quirk user, right? That do strong missions. Only as backup, said Naruto. It doesn't matter, she said. Just believe in yourself. After all, I believe in you. Huh, you're one of the few, said Naruto. But you're gonna make it, Ami, said Naruto. You're an excellent swordswoman. Even the teacher praise your skills on a daily basis. Hey, what you two up to? The both of them turned as Naruto looked towards his other friend. His name was Keiyo Iwashi. Keiyo Iwashi was normal. He had chakra. He didn't have a quirk. Yes, granted everyone in this class didn't have a quirk. As Naruto and him had become friends a long time ago, Ami had been the one to actually introduce them. She kind of was the person that made Naruto break out of his shell because he was much more calm and quiet than this. And he was beyond grateful to her. If it wasn't for her, he would still be just by himself. Nothing really. Just talking about us becoming ninjas and not really getting any special missions. Kyo slapped Naruto on the shoulder. What the hell are you talking about? He said. We have to get awesome missions. I mean, we're awesome, right? As Naruto chuckled at that. Yeah, we're awesome, said Ami. As she agreed with his statement. I mean, look at us. We're gonna be the 3 badassest ninjas in the entire world, she said. You know, you guys are right, said Naruto. We're gonna be the greatest, as he put out his fist. As the both of them punched the side of his fist. As the 3 of them chuckled. They didn't matter who always say that they were gonna be helpless or weak just because they did not possess a quirk. It did not matter to them at all. They were still gonna be great. That is what they told themselves. They were kids. They cheer each other up because most people did not even notice them. There were just a handful of them in the class. There was not that much of them in this school. And you could see that the council and his father did not pay that much attention to this school. Unlike the fancy school with the quirk users, this place was pretty worn out and bad. The teacher then came in. As he smiled to them as usual, he also not possessing a quirk, as he greeted all of them with a happy smile. They have learned some things though. Naruto was able to multiply himself. It was called the Shadow Clone technique. He was also able to use the substitution technique. And they were learning how to walk up trees. And also the mimicking technique by transforming into someone. Some users out there have that quirk, however, they can stay at the person for a long while, unlike them. And it was perfect, down to the last detail. That is why people say quirk users were better. And for that they were the less commoners. Time skip. Naruto returned back home after a long day, as they were practicing tree walking once again. It is said that those with quirk adapt to their chakra far faster. That is why those in the elite school were taught how to tree walk from a very young age. Yes, that is it. Those without a quirk had a harder time controlling their chakra, but those with a quirk can control their chakra in quick session. And even though Menma and Mito had a literal monster inside their guts, they were able to use this chakra without much backlash. Their mother's quirk was used as a supplement to kill the effects of the fox, overriding their system with his own power. So despite quirk users being all that high and mighty, they still had to use regular ninja stuff like tree walking and water walking, but they got it so much faster that it was seen as easy to them, while the quirkless struggled to do it. As Naruto entered through the main gates, the moment he did, BAM! The ground beside him cracked up with explosions. As Naruto was thrown to the ground, laughter could be heard as he glanced up to see Mito and Menma laughing with their friend. Their friend, Sasuke Uchiha. Sasuke possessed a quirk that allowed him to create explosives in his hands. Sasuke was a bully. Yes, he was. And of course he was friends with his sister and his brother. The Uchiha clan possessed the eyes known as Sharingan. The Sharingan was able to enhance one's vision. Adding that onto your quirk, it gave them very powerful leaping abilities over all other normal quirk users. And that is what set them apart from other normal people. They had a clan, a specific symbol just like the Hyugas. All of them had the Byakugan eyes. While they have different quirks, they all have similar eyes that could see far distances. So along with their normal quirk, they also possess far visual jutsu. Same for the Sharingan. What the hell, said Naruto as he picked himself up. What, loser, Sasuke said, standing and glaring down at Naruto. It's just a prank, get over it. Yeah, it's just a prank. Don't be a cry baby and go tell mommy, said Mito, as Naruto gave her a glare. What, he's mad, said Menma. Come on, lighten up. We're just joking with you, he said. You almost hit me, said Naruto. Almost. It seems I missed, Sasuke said as he laughed once more, causing the others to laugh. Naruto got up, his fist clenched. Oh? And what are you gonna do, said Sasuke. Are you gonna attack me? Come on. Why don't you swing? Naruto has been angry whenever his siblings do this, but someone like Sasuke just pissed him off even more. So he swung. However, Sasuke was easily able to counteract Naruto's swing by ducking under it. He hit Naruto's hand up in the air before he slammed his elbow in Naruto's gut. Naruto dropped down to his knees. Why does he even try, said Mito. However, Naruto brought his hand up and created a clone that jumped towards Sasuke and punched him across the face. Sasuke staggered back. However, he seemed to only get angrier. Phew. His hands started to light up as he slammed his hand in the clone, blowing it to pieces. He then shot the ground as Naruto was blown back. Kushner came out. What is going on out here, she said. Naruto got up. He attacked me, he said. It's just joking, Mom. Naruto is just being too sensitive, said Mito. Besides, everything is fine. Yeah, said Menma, agreeing with her. I was just kidding around, Sasuke said. He doesn't have to be that angry. It's like he doesn't even want any friends. Naruto, said Kushner. They're just playing with you. Lighten up. They're not. Naruto bit his tongue. As he exhaled, knowing that it won't even do any good, he just walked away. You guys play nicely now, said Kushner as he went back inside. That was a problem that she and his father had. They seemed to disregard whatever he said for the others, which surely pissed him off. Sasuke reached up and rubbed his cheek. Oh? Did your weak little brother manage to hurt you, said Mito. Of course not, I'm fine. Just because he knows the stupid clone jutsu doesn't make him special. After all, he's a quirkless loser. Yeah, you're right, said Mito. Come on, let's go, she said, as she walked away. As Naruto stood there behind the corner glaring at all of them. He really hated them. A lot. 2 years passed by really quickly, as Naruto was now 12 years old. At the moment, he was in front of his father, getting a scolding. Naruto tried not to look at the man. His brother and sister had tried to pull a prank on him once again. It ended up breaking two of their mother's favorite vases, which they broke, and instead of listening to him, instead of giving him a chance, the moment Menma and Mito said that it was him, she disregarded everything that he said and said that his father will handle him. And just like that, now he was here. Minato telling him that he shouldn't be causing any problems. He just knew that his father wanted to say, you're already quirkless, so it's best if you just stay quiet. He wouldn't say that outright, but Naruto just had a feeling that the man wanted to say that. It was just the way he looked sometimes. Like he was disappointed, which he was. Most of them were disappointed that he did not possess a quirk because Minato wanted legacies to go on in the future, and granted him and his wife possess powerful quirks. He felt humiliated, that was the thing, yes. Many others possess quirks, even normal people that weren't from any powerful line, they had quirks. And yet his own son did not have a quirk, and he felt humiliated because of that. Thus he decided to keep Naruto away from the spotlight as most as possible. Yes, he kept Naruto away, and his mother went along with it because he made her understand that it was quite humiliating. Her best friend Mikoto had two boys that had powerful quirks, Itachi and Sasuke, and yet her son didn't have not even one quirk. It was quite disappointed, so he should be staying out of the spotlight. That is how they spoke when they thought he was not around. However, Naruto heard all of that. The more time that passed, the more he seemed to resent them even more. But he did what he always did. He just accepted his fate and said nothing about it. One day he was going to prove them all wrong. He was going to prove them wrong, that he wasn't worthless. Just because he doesn't possess a quirk, it doesn't mean that he wasn't special like them. Once his father was done, he was able to leave. His father saying that his allowance is going to pay it back. He was going to use his own allowance to buy back the two vases. His brother and sister get a lot more pocket money than him, and yet they were going to take the little money that they gave him to fix back two vases that his brother and sister broke. Several deep breaths were taken for him to calm himself. At the moment, Naruto sat with Ami. "It's gonna be alright," she said. "We both know that you're assholes. Just don't let it bother you." "How can't I?" said Naruto. "The more time passes, the worse it gets." "Yeah, you're right. But we're gonna be awesome ninjas, right?" Naruto gave her a look. She simply chuckled nervously. "Look, you're not the only one," she told him. "This morning my sister told me to give up on my dream because I was just gonna waste valuable resources. That the Quirkless are not meant to be out there. We're weaker, we're slower. We're not adept in using our chakra that good. And we're basically pathetic." And I know that my mother overheard piece of that. And what did she do? She prepared breakfast and said nothing about it. So yeah, it's not like you're the only one. And you know KO family is worse. "Yeah," said Naruto as he looked down. "Some people really hated quirkless people. KO mother was someone that's... well, she possessed a quirk that allowed her to lift objects. Telekinesis, that is. The problem was, the more quirk user you have in your family, the more status you have. KO father was a mistake. They had slept together by accident. She was drunk, he was drunk. She did not know that he did not possess a quirk. And she thought that there might be a chance that KO had a quirk. There's a 50-50% chance. And ever since he was born and he didn't have any, she drank a lot. And sometimes she get physical and violent. So yeah, he had it worse. At least his parents did not hit him. While it was mental abuse, his parents gave him physical abuse. But despite that, KO was always cheery and happy. Even the times when he came to school with markings on his arms and a cut in his face that healed over time. But despite that, he went through all of it without complaining once. As Naruto understands that he has a great deal of strength to just go through that without even caring about what people think. That made him just respect him even more. They all would come together in the special days when their birthdays come together. They had been doing that since their parents not seem to think about them that much. And they come together and enjoy their birthday together. Whenever they went to the other school, there were some important things to be taught, lessons, to show how the quirk users act in their school well. They were always treated like garbage there. There was a clique. His sister Mito was in that clique. She and another one known as Sakura Haruno. Sakura and the Haruno family possess a quirk that allowed them to use sound waves from their mouths. Granted, she was really loud. Sometimes you can't even tell where she's using her quirk, as Naruto really hated her. And then there was Hinata. She was from the Hyuga clan. She was a total bitch as well. She was spoiled. The Hyuga clan pride themselves on being the strongest despite the Sharingan users has the most competent quirk users. However, Hinata was a powerful user. Hinata possessed a water quirk. Whenever someone had an elemental quirk, people think highly of them, knowing that they could control the substance in a large area. Fighting her near the ocean or near to a beach or water source would be quite foolish. She could also create her own water, as it poured from her mouth like saliva. The more she gathered, the more she can use. She can harden it, she could soften it, she could turn it into different molecules. She had complete control. However, it was weak because of her age and she was not at her peak yet, so, well, she didn't have complete mastery over everything. But the water that she could gather, she had complete control over that. But it was not that much. So yes, there was a clique. And his brother and Sasuke was the top boys of the class, followed by a few others. There was also the Inuzaka boy as well, the lazy shadow boy that was able to manifestate a completely different entity from his shadow. The Nara clan he was from. The Nara users always have some quirk that favors shadow manipulation. However, tomorrow was a big day, as Naruto looked towards Ami with a smile. "We're finally gonna graduate," Ami said, as she held Naruto's hand with a big smile on her face. "Don't you worry. All the abuse, all the hate. Once we graduate and we make enough money, we can just buy a big house together. You and I and KO are gonna live in it," she said. And we don't have to worry about others missing our birthday because we'll always remember each other's birthday. So, promise me that we're gonna do that and get away from all the Quirk fools. I promise, said Naruto. I can't hear you. I promise. I said I can't hear you. I promise, Naruto screamed. That's more like it, she yelled with a smile on her face, making him smile back. She was always able to cheer him up, no matter what. The next day, Naruto was surprised when he came downstairs as his whole family was there. Usually his father was gone by now. Quietly he sat down. As he said nothing. Young man, haven't I taught you respect, Kushner said. Morning, said Naruto. That's more like you, she said to him. She didn't know why Naruto always go out of his way to cause problems. Why couldn't he be more like his brother and sister? As Minato gave him a look, but he said nothing about it as he kept on reading the newspaper. So what is everyone going to be doing today? Minato asks. Well, Dad, you already know that me and Menma are going to be acing the exam to show that we're finally ready to utilize our quirk in professional ways. Well, you know that despite if you pass the test, you are still not completely professional in utilizing your quirk. You still have much more training to do. However, you will start to get paid for your services to go on missions. And it's gonna be awesome, said Menma. Yeah, you bet, said Mito. Naruto said nothing as he ate his toast. What about you? For a moment nothing was said as Naruto looked up. Are you talking to me? He said, looking at his mother that spoke. Yes. What are you going to be doing? She asked. Well, today is also the graduation, said Naruto. It is? Huh. I never know. Naruto would have said that you knew that it was Menma and Mito's graduation, but she didn't know that it was his. But he bit his tongue. Well, I hope everyone have a wonderful day, said Minato. I'll see you guys later. I have to go now. As they say their goodbyes to him, Naruto said nothing. But if Minato heard or did not heard, it didn't seem to really matter. I'll be coming to the school to pick you guys up today, after you guys graduate, so you better get a move on. I'm afraid I won't be able to come to yours, Naruto, she said, turning towards him. Come on, Mom, why waste your time of even saying that? It's not like it's gonna be something big anyways. The regular school doesn't really do that. It's just some congratulations for what? Doing some few tricks? Which is rather lame. Kushner shrugged as she just walked off. As she thought the same thing. The Quirks school was far better, yes. Naruto graduation was insignificant in her eyes. They did these things. As sometimes he wondered if they just did not care if their actions was affecting him, or if they knew it but they just see him as a disappointment. So he kept his mouth shut. Hey, loser. Naruto clenched his fist under the table. Hey, loser, said Menma once again. But Naruto ignored him and walked away. A toast was thrown in the back of his head. He took a breath and simply left the room. As Menma simply chuckled. He seemed rather more grumpy today. Come on, wouldn't you be grumpy if you don't have a quirk? And you're awesome like us, said Mito. Yeah, you're probably right. That must be it. However, he should respond when I'm talking to him. The quirkless should know who their better is. Just leave it alone and stop wasting time. We need to get moving. Yeah, you're right. Let's go. As they got themselves prepared. As for Naruto, he also got dressed and made his way to school. Arriving there, he saw, on the outside, it was Kyo. Naruto noticed a bandage on his face. Did she again, said Naruto. Don't worry, said Kyo, waving Naruto off. Let me see it, said Naruto. It's fine, man. Come on, let me see it. Naruto had to literally fight him to let him see it as he grabbed his hand. Fine, said Kyo. As he moved the bandage, she got a bit drunk last night. Let's just say she threw the bottle after me. I guess I remind her of my dad, said Kyo. It's gonna be alright, man, said Naruto. Once we graduate, things are gonna be a whole lot better. Huh. If you say so, said Kyo. I really hope you're right, though. With that, the both of them made their way inside. Hey guys, said Ami as she rushed up to them. She then noticed the cheek. Are you okay? She said. Yeah, I'm fine. Ami hugged Kyo. It's gonna be alright, she said. Thanks, guys. Having you two really cheers me up a lot. With that, they made their way inside. The teacher. He was a scarred-nosed Chunin. His name was Aruka. Alright everyone, he said after they were all settled. Just because we don't have a big celebration like the others, don't you ever dare think less of yourself. Today is a special day for you all. You will all be graduating and moving on to something special. You will be starting to take missions outside the village. Granted, there's a lot of missions to be taken, however, you will be given teachers that are trained in the arts of ninja, only with ninja alone without a quirk, to teach you how to better protect yourself out there. So I want you all that pass to keep yourself safe, okay? They all nodded their heads. Alright, let us begin the tests. Oh yeah, there was one more thing about Naruto. Not having a quirk forced him to lean more to the study side. And because of that, sometimes he just read and sometimes he just read books in his room when his parents are downstairs playing with the others. So he just became smart over time. Yeah, he was pretty smart. Actually the top in his class in the smarts. However, in terms of fighting, KO actually was stronger than him in that area. KO knew how to better versatilize himself in different fighting moves. As Naruto was second, Ami was the top of the girls. So the teacher gave out the tests. They were all able to create their shadow clones and the substitution jutsu and the transformation jutsu. Once that was said and done, they were given official headbands. The headbands for the quirkless and quirks were different. The headbands for the quirkless had the Konoha insignia on it. However, for the quirk user, it had a different insignia with the Konoha insignia on top. Below that, there was another one. As the Konoha insignia was smaller, it was the kanjis for Ultra Forces, making them look like they were special than them. However, Naruto did not care much as he looked at his friends. He was beyond happy. However, the route had to be rowing. Ami. As Naruto turned and saw Yujiro, Ami's older sister, as Ami went over towards her. They cursed a bit at each other, as you could hear their voice raising. Ami came back. Sorry guys. I have to go, she said. There's been some problem. I'll see you guys tomorrow, okay? Yeah. See you tomorrow, said Naruto. We'll celebrate tomorrow, said KO. As with that, they nodded at each other. As Naruto and KO start to walk out until, hey, you there. Naruto turned when he saw someone that he didn't expect. He's seen this guy before. What does he want with you? I don't know, said Naruto. Come here. Because of his status and not to mention him possessing a quirk, seen as ignoring him or acting against him would seem as a problem for the upper head, so Naruto just went along. What do you want, he said. Is that any way to talk to someone who's gonna try and help you out? Help me out? Why? In front of him was Mizuki. This man had a quirk, as he was one of the teachers in the Ultra Force school. So Naruto had no idea why he was speaking to him. Look, I heard about your predicament. I'm not really a bad guy, said Mizuki. What do you want, said Naruto. It's quite easy. I want you to become stronger. You want me to become stronger, said Naruto confused. Yep, you heard that right. Don't be too surprised. I don't understand. Well, I've been one of your siblings' instructor for the past 2 years. I've been watching you. I see the way they bully you and treat you. And they're really horrible people. Naruto said nothing, not knowing if this was some sort of trap. I still don't get what you want. Well, they've been horrible even to someone like me. You see, well, you're the Hokage's son, so they're related to him because he's their father. So you can understand my position. And they've been miserable. And also, they've been quite an ass to me. And I want a way to make them pay for all they've done. You know my father can have you executed for saying something like this about his children, right? Yeah, I know that, but you won't tell them, right? Why won't I tell them? You aren't supposed to say something like that. Because as I said, I want to help you. You see, he leaned forward. There's a special weapon in the forest, he said, pushing a scroll in Naruto's shirt. Inside that scroll you will find the location of where the weapon is. It is said to grant a use or a quirk. Naruto's eyes widened upon hearing that. However, his mind thought about it. That's impossible. Why do you say that? Then why doesn't quirkless people have quirk then, said Naruto? Because there is some side effect. You see, normal people can't do it. The thing is, you have to have a lot of chakra, which you have. And also, not many people know about this. I was able to get this information very underhandedly. And you want to give it to me. You see, your brother and sister always said that you're nothing but a waste of space. Nothing but a garbage brother in the class, the other children making them laugh. Naruto's face clenched at that. And I want you to prove them wrong. I would love to see the look on your face when you possess a quirk. It is just my way of pissing them off for all of their mistreatment that they've done to me. You could get my way, right? I'm the teacher and yet I'm being bullied by a couple of kids. As much as I hate to say it. And just because their father is Hokage, they get away with a lot. So, go and find that artifact. Once you do, they say that you only have to touch it. However, it's heavily protected, but I'm sure with your ninja train that you can get it. After all, ninjas are spies, able to get in the most secretive places. But you have to do this tonight. It is said that the artifact is locked in a temple that it's not going to be guarded tonight because everyone's going to be celebrated. The graduation of the Ultra for school. So I suggest you go because tonight will be your last time to get it. Mizuki then walked away. Why should I trust you, said Naruto. Trust me or not, I don't really care. I just want those bastards to get a taste of their own medicine. By the way, it's not me they're calling trash, so trust me if you like, said Mizuki as he walked away. What was that about, said Kyo. You're not gonna believe what I was just told. Naruto was smart, but he was still young. And he can still be tricked. Despite how we always act and how we always go about things, Naruto would kill for a quirk. Because maybe then his parents would actually love him. Granted, he's been trying to ignore the fact that he doesn't need anyone. But having love that would be a game changer for him. Maybe then they would actually care about him. Kyo overheard what Naruto said and he was baffled. His mother had told him to his face several times before that. She didn't like him because he did not possess a quirk. She didn't care about his feelings that much. She was a drunk. Sometimes she just did to hurt his feelings. He reminded her of his quirkless, worthless father, she said. So hearing that, Kyo decided that they should do it. But Naruto was against the idea a bit. But Kyo loosened him up. This would help them greatly. And they had to get the artifact, they had to steal it, whatever it was. Because upon stealing it, they can give Ami a chance to get a quirk as well. Of course, they would give it to Ami the moment they found it. So the boys decided to go. Neither of their parents would not notice that they weren't there, so they made their way. Later that night, using the scroll, Naruto was able to use the small little map as he made his way through the location. It did not take him too long to arrive there. Surprisingly, there was no guards. So do you truly believe this thing is real, said Naruto. I have no idea, but if it is, I'm not gonna miss out on my opportunity, said Kyo. I mean, think about it. We would have quirks. Me, you, and Ami. Things would be so much better. We wouldn't have to be disgraced or shamed anymore. Granted, we've been doing good without them, he said with a hollow laugh, as it was really sarcastic. But this will be a whole lot better. Come on, said Naruto as they went under the brush. They crawled for a long while until they came back up, making their way upside in on the branch as they used tree walking to get over there. Upon arriving towards the location, they crawled through another tiny space. They then hopped up on several trees, making their way. And they finally arrived. And they saw the temple. Whoa. Is this shit really real? Said Kyo as he looked towards Naruto. I don't know. Let's find out. Naruto moved towards the door as he started to push. The door was made from a solid thick wood. However, the more he pushed, the more nothing happened. Kyo applied strength as well, as the thing won't break, as he kept on pushing and pushing and pushing, until It finally started to budge. As they pushed it, the earth door fell. And when it did, there was nothing. No, there was absolutely nothing inside. It was small and looked like it was recently crafted. What the... Well, I'm surprised you actually bought it. The both of them spun to see Mizuki standing there. Mizuki, what are you doing here? Said Naruto. You didn't think I was gonna miss this, did you? After all, I was the one that sent you here. Hey, there's nothing in there, said Kyo as he stepped forward. I thought you said WAP! Kyo was slapped across the face by an electric whip that came from Mizuki's hand. His quirk, Electric Whip. The name implied exactly what it meant. Kyo cried out in pain as he was slashed across the face. Kyo, said Naruto as he rushed towards him. Naruto ran down and held on to him. What the hell are you doing? Well, you see, it's quite simple. I'm a traitor to this village. You're what? Years upon years I spent pretending like I'm a damn teacher for these stupid children. But today is the only time I get to finally show my true motives because I'm leaving. What's going on? What's hard to understand, you brat? Someone wants you. Very much. They believe that your body might hold the secret too. The quirk of Minato and Kushner. Granted you have none. Your blood, your DNA, it is still from them. There might still be a way to re-engineer the quirk. So that is why I was sent in here to get you. Someone wants you bad. But I had to get to know everything first before I made my move. I didn't think it would take that long. I wasn't lying, your brothers and sisters are assholes. The countless of times I think about just killing them, but taking them and trying to take them to get out of here was completely different. You see, I'm actually worried about going up against them, but you... Slap! Naruto cried out as he was slapped in the arm, electricity running up inside of him. He reached and he pulled a kunai and launched it. Mizuki slapped it out of the ear. He then rushed forward as he wrapped the electric whip around Naruto's throat. He lessened the electricity so it did not kill him. As Naruto gripped it and started to cry out. Shh. Don't make so much noise. You really messed up though bringing your friend here. I was just gonna take you. Now I have to... KO threw a kunai right towards Mizuki. Mizuki tilted as he stabbed him into his shoulder. You little brat! He hardened the whip and drive it down. KO cried out in pain as he was slashed across the back, blood pouring down. KO, no, said Naruto as he struggled, as he tried to pry the thing off him, but Mizuki held him close. You just stay right there. As KO then got back up despite the bleeding and the pain that he was feeling. Gripping another kunai, he held it forward. Worthless, quirkless kid thinking that you stand a chance. Something burst from the ground. It was one of the electric whips as he grabbed onto his leg. KO cried out as his leg was burned so badly that the skin turned black. His feet could no longer support him as he collapsed. Mizuki was choking the life out of Naruto to make him pass out. Naruto's eyes were getting more and more blurry. KO, run, he said. However, Mizuki stood over him and hardened the whip. It became like a spear. No! Slash! KO's eyes went wide as the thing drove right through his back, tearing through his heart. Mizuki simply shook his head. Could have lived, if you weren't so nosy, he said as he looked up towards Naruto. Naruto's hands dropped at his side, tears in his eyes flowing. As his eyes were slowly closing. What's the point, he thought to himself. Why does he even bother? He should just give up. His family never wanted him in the first place. It's best if he just died, right? And now one of his best friends were dead. But Ami, she would be all alone. And he couldn't do that to her. He couldn't just leave her all alone. No, he couldn't. He couldn't leave her all alone. He was not gonna leave her all alone. Something inside of Naruto snapped as Naruto's hand shot up and gripped the whip. Mizuki started to stagger on his feet. As black markings spread from Naruto's fingertips, it spread over the whip and spread over Mizuki. Mizuki cried out as the black markings wrapped around him for 10 seconds before they were yanked back into Naruto's flesh. Naruto dropped on the ground, gasping for breath. Mizuki looked toward his hands as whips were no longer there. "What did you do?" he said, looking at Naruto. He picked up the kunai. "I asked you a question," he threw it as it stabbed into Naruto's shoulder. Naruto staggered back as he looked up as Mizuki kicked him across the face. He slammed into a tree. "Tell me, what did you do to my quirk?" he yelled. He rushed over and picked Naruto by the throat up and slammed his back into the tree as Naruto coughed up blood. He smashed his fist in Naruto's face, cracking his nose. "Answer me," he said. "Answer." He suddenly paused as 5 electrical whip stabbed through his chest. Mizuki looked down confused as he backed away, sliding off them. The electrical whips that came from Naruto's chest. They had came from Naruto, the quirkless child. Mizuki spat up blood. "You hurt my friend," said Naruto. "I'll make you pay," he said, looking towards KO, not even know what he was doing. Electric whip exploded out of him. However, the electricity seemed to go intense as Naruto had just stolen his quirk. When the electric whips came down, boom! Minato Namikaze was quickly alerted by that. An explosion of that magnitude happening in his village, rushing towards the scene. When he arrived, he was baffled to what he saw. Naruto was on his knees, cradling the body of KO. Around him, everything was charred. The trees were badly burned. Envoys arrived in the scene, special unit of elite quirk users. As Naruto was standing there, tears rolling from his eyes. That is when Minato saw the electric whips coming out of Naruto's back. His eyes widened. "Naruto?" But guys, we end up right here. If you enjoy seeing what's the next part, go ahead, comment down below and tell me guys, and I'll be posting that as soon as possible for you guys to enjoy. And don't forget to stay in tune for the rest of what is coming your way. And I hope you guys enjoy each and every one of them. Bye, I'm off for now. See you guys soon. Peace.